4 times Barcelona has beaten Real Madrid this season. 4 times Barcelona have been the king of Spain. We saw Barcelona beat Real Madrid 4-0 in the LaLiga. We saw them beat them 5-2 in the Supercopa, 3-2 in the Copa del Rey, and recently 4-3 once again in the LaLiga. Real Madrid in the last decade have won 5 Champions League titles. They've won the LaLiga title multiple times. They've won multiple Supercopa and Copa del Rey titles. But this season, it is all Barcelona. Barcelona have won the domestic treble and Real Madrid have nothing to show for it. And now we can confidently say that Barcelona have dethroned Real Madrid. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how both of these teams performed throughout the season, their struggles, how they succeeded, and how Barcelona always ended up finding the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the future of both of these clubs and some big changes that might be happening for next season. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. I'm going to start off with Real Madrid because at the start of this season, a lot of people thought that Real Madrid were going to be the best team in the world once again. They won the last 2 out of 3 Champions League titles. We've seen them win the La Liga, we've seen them win all these other titles, and they got Mbappe. The best player in the world is now going to be playing for Real Madrid, as all the best players end up going to Real Madrid. But their season did not pan out as most people expected. They definitely had a slow start to the season, and obviously that 4-0 loss against Barcelona early on in the season was a big setback. But as the season progressed, Real Madrid did progressively get better. The team's chemistry progressively got better. They started incorporating new players into the lineup like Endrick, like Arda Güler, and obviously they were starting to play much better. But Barcelona were always one step ahead of Real Madrid. Now, a lot of people are still saying that Mbappe underperformed this season, but in my opinion, you can't say that because he still scored the most goals ever out of any Real Madrid player in their debut season. He still got 27 goals and 3 assists so far in the La Liga with a couple games left. So you cannot say that Mbappe didn't perform well, but you can say that other players did not perform to the level that Mbappe did. And we saw a perfect display of this in their recent game where they lost 4-3 against Barcelona. Mbappe was incredible, scored a hat-trick, he played very good in that match. But other players, Vinicius Jr., some of Real Madrid's defenders like Lucas Vazquez, did not perform to the standard that they should be performing to. Now, obviously, we cannot glance over Real Madrid's injury crisis this season. Throughout the season, there's been so many injuries, and even now, coming to the end of the season, we see players like Rudiger, Carvajal, Alaba, Militao, Mendy, and Camavinga still being injured, which obviously these injuries do not help them whatsoever. But that is not the only problem. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti is leaving Real Madrid, and in my opinion, he didn't do enough this season. We all know that Carlo Ancelotti, throughout his few years at Real Madrid, was never the best manager tactically. He never had the best tactics like a manager like Pep Guardiola, but he still was a good manager and he was able to adapt. Maybe a little slow, but he was able to adapt. But this season, I don't think he adapted fast enough. If you look at all of Real Madrid's games against Barcelona, they have progressively got better. Where in the first game they lost 4-0, in the next game in the Supercopa they lost 5-2, but in the last 2 matches they only lost by 1 goal. But I think Carlo Ancelotti should have done more. He maybe should have subbed in different players. He shouldn't have started certain players, and they maybe could have won this game. Obviously, Ancelotti has recently left Real Madrid, and he does leave a very good legacy, having won the UCL 2 times and also having won the La Liga title. But I think this will be a big change for Real Madrid going into next season because Xabi Alonso is a very different manager compared to Carlo Ancelotti. Where Ancelotti lacks in that tactical area, Xabi Alonso is one of the most tactical managers out there. We saw what he did with Bayer Leverkusen, which by the way was absolutely incredible. But the tactical switch that's going to be happening from this season to next season is going to be mental. It is going to be so crazy. Real Madrid are going to look like a completely different team. And I think in the long run, it will be very good but I think it will definitely take a little bit of time to adjust. Another thing that we can take away from Real Madrid this season is that they definitely need more players. They need to make a few signings, which sounds crazy for a team with as much talent as Real Madrid, but they definitely need to make some new signings. Rodrigo recently has not been getting much game time, and it looks like he may be leaving Real Madrid in the near future. So obviously they're going to need a replacement for him. I think they should possibly sign another fullback, maybe even more center backs, as this injury crisis really hit them hard this season. And even a player like Courtois is starting to get up there in age and may be leaving Real Madrid in the coming years. Now, what does this mean for Real Madrid? If you look into the future, I think they're definitely in safe hands. Xabi Alonso is definitely going to bring a lot of new things to Real Madrid. And obviously they have a lot of young talent, which is going to be there for many, many years. But if you look at Real Madrid in their current state, I don't think they are near good enough to win the LaLiga or win the Champions League once again. And it's definitely going to take a little bit of time to adjust. And that's why for the current moment, Barcelona are 100% the best team in Spain and arguably the best team in the world. You got to give a round of applause to Barcelona this season because, oh my God, they were absolutely incredible. 95 goals scored in the La Liga at the current moment. And within the next 3 games, I wouldn't be surprised if they get over 100 goals scored, which is absolutely incredible. And it shows you how good Barcelona's attack is. I think that this 4-3 win against Real Madrid completely sums up Barcelona as a team and completely sums up their whole season, as their attack is the best in Europe. They score loads and loads of goals, but also the fight and determination in their team, from their players, from their manager. If you look at Barcelona within their last 7 matches, in each of these 7 matches, in the La Liga, in the Champions League, in the Copa del Rey, at some point in these matches, they were down. They were down against Inter Milan. They were down against Real Madrid. They were down against Celta Vigo and also against Real Valladolid. But they always ended up coming back. Every single time they're down, they end up coming back, they end up winning the game, they end up getting a good result. And that shows you how much determination and how much fight some of these Barcelona players have. But it also sums up the negative side of Barcelona and the negative side of Hansi Flick. We all know that he loves to play with a high line, but I don't think all of these Barcelona defenders are good enough to play the high line that Hansi Flick likes to play. We've all seen how good Inigo Martinez has been this season, but some of their other defenders, and especially their fullbacks who have been struggling with injury, it doesn't pair well with this high line. And that's why Barcelona, yes, they've been scoring so many goals, but they've been conceding a ridiculous amount of goals. They've conceded 14 goals within their last 6 matches. But you cannot deny that it is very respectable. Hansi Flick will live and die by this high line. We've seen Barcelona win the La Liga, they won the Supercopa, they won the Copa del Rey, but they could have probably won the Champions League if this high line didn't punish them so many times in that matchup against Inter Milan. But in the long run, I do think that Barcelona have the players. Maybe they could make a few signings on the defensive side of things, but other than that, I think they are completely good. Their midfield, Frankie de Jong, Pedri, oh my gosh. Pedri is the best midfielder in the world. He is absolutely incredible. But their attack, Barcelona's attack this season, has been clearly 100% the best attack in the world. If we look at Lewandowski, 43 goal contributions in 49 games. Rafinha had a Ballon d'Or worthy season, 56 goal contributions in 54 games so far. And finally, Lamine Yamal, the star boy. This guy is everything for Barcelona. Obviously, Rafinha and Lewandowski are incredible players and very, very important for the success of this team. But Lamine Yamal, he is a special player. Everything goes through him. He is the most important player. And if you look at Barcelona's 5 losses in the La Liga this season, he didn't start in 4 of those games. And that's probably the reason why they ended up losing. Now, I've been hearing a lot of people say that Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world. And in my opinion, I wouldn't go that far yet. I would still say that Mbappe is the best player in the world. Because to be the best player, you need the track record, you need the trophies, and he has the trophies, but he doesn't have the track record yet, as he is still very, very young. But if you were talking about the best technical ability, the best first touch, the best at creating space, creating chances, Lamine Yamal is 100% the best, most technical winger in the whole world. Now, in terms of Barcelona's future, obviously Hansi Flick has recently renewed his contract, and this team that they currently have, I think, will look pretty similar to their team for next season. And in my opinion, I think it is an incredible team. They have some very good players. Yes, maybe they could make a few defensive changes, maybe a couple signings here and there, but generally, I think their style of play, the players they have, and the manager is top class and arguably the best in the world. We can talk all we want about history. We can look at the last decade and look at what Real Madrid have won. But this season, Barcelona are the kings of Spain. They have dethroned Real Madrid, and Barcelona, in my opinion, is the best team in the world. And that is the end of this video, where I talked a little bit about this Barcelona versus Real Madrid debate that's currently going on. I talked about how these teams have performed throughout the season and looking into their future and what could be coming within the next few years. But obviously, if you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.